famous after-school show that also revolves around high school.
High School Musical.
So the premise of the game is, to challenge people in regards to like difficult Spanish words, and we've noticed that really just like blossoms like conversations amongst like maybe like how you grew up or like, oh, I did this differently. ¿Cómo se dice leash in Spanish?
Dude.
Like the dog leash.
Like a dog leash? Collar?
Collar? Nah, correa. Es una correa.
Mom, if you're watching this.
And then we added like prueba time, which is just like trivia questions, which help, again, either help entertain the people playing, but also help share more stories about how you grew up and, even bring you a little bit closer together to see, oh, we really aren't that different. We grew up exactly almost the same way. And then we added chancla cards, which are like, like a chancla card, right, would be like, you have like a little scenario at the top, and then you read it, and then you throw it to the person that you feel fits that scenario the best, and then they have to perform the action at the bottom of the card.
Oh, so you're making it interactive.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly, right?
Okay.
Because and it was actually my fiance that did that, because we came up with that concept, and then we were actually walking our dogs, and then she was like, "What if we added this type of stuff? That way it's not just like guessing the words in Spanish or guessing that stuff." And I was like, "That's brilliant," because people want to do something interactive, right? Like coming out of COVID, everything was like all over the place.
Card games at home.
Yeah, card games at home, playing virtual. Like I did, I think I did like a virtual, like a trivia night online, Zoom, and it was like what you had, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I was like, no, we gotta, do something a little more fun, instead of just
Or
asking.
different.
Different,
So,
yeah.
I always say like, different is better than better.
Yeah.
Different's always better, and it's like the first card game that I've seen besides Loteria that's like a Spanish one.
Yeah.
Like Loteria and then this one.
Yeah, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback from people because, like families will message me and they'll say like, "Oh, I played it with my family," and their family consists of, their grandpas, abuelitas, and, their kids, which are also still learning Spanish. And because the cards are, very vanilla, I say vanilla because there's nothing really bad on them, and it's more talking about your culture and how you grew up and all that stuff.
So how did the idea of everything for the game came out? Like how first
Yeah.
of all, what made you decide I'm gonna make a card game? Like that's, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how did everything come to be?
Yeah, last year we were starting to hang out with our friends again more, right? Because COVID had gone down a little bit, and we had been asking ourselves like, oh, like, well, ¿cómo se dice? I remember because we were driving home one night, and we passed the Goodyear blimp area where they have it, like off the 405, and then we were like, how do you say, blimp in Spanish? And sometimes you don't want to use Google, right? You just want to, challenge yourself.
a little bit, yeah.
And so none of us knew it. And then after that, we were like, well, ¿cómo se dice esto? And, we started thinking of like harder and harder words. And, I was like, man, we should make a game, because, as much as I like social media, I also want to get away from that, which means that when I play a game, I don't want to play a game on
your
my phone.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, how do we do this? And we were like, okay, well, like a card game, right? And so we took it a lot more seriously the beginning of this year. And in January, like my fiance's brother is a graphic designer. And so I commissioned him, right, to do it. And I was like, hey, give me a quote. I need help creating all the artwork. We have the game concept on what we want to do, but we need your help in bringing it to life. And so, I met him when he was like really, really young. Like I think he was still in high school or like middle school, because I met my fiance when I was in college.
Yeah.
And, he was like, all right, I got you. He made a presentation for us. He was like, this is what I'm going for, because he's a freelancer. So like we never got that side of him. And he was like, this is what I got. These are the colors that I'm kind of looking into, the font that I'm creating for you guys and all that stuff. And we're like, that's perfect. And to be honest with you, I think that's probably the reason that we were able to do it, because we had such a close relationship with the graphic designer. Because a lot of it is, how do you make it come out at you on a shelf, right? Or make it more so that, you want it as a staple on your tabletop, right?
So this version right here, what version is this? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't the first version. You guys had revisions.
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
Had changing, added stuff to it. Like,
well, luckily he did a pretty good job. I think this was only like version number 2, because version number
nice.
1 just had like the very basic elements. So it had very little text around it and all that stuff. But then we started thinking, I'm like, if we're going to make it like a drinking kind of game, then we should add the disclaimer, right, just in case, and
Yeah.
adding some of the graphics on the side, and like I mean, even for the box, like you don't notice these things, but like he was like, we got to put this text higher, that way when it's closed, it gets covered, right, and so it's not just like a little text sneaking through, and he did the same thing there, and our manufacturer like messaged us and he was like, hey, your logos are a bit off center, are you sure you want to print it that way? And we were like, yeah, because we don't want text to be peeking from the box, and we didn't think of that because I don't work in that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good like round one, round two, and boom, let's do production as soon as possible.
How many units did you like print out, or were you doing like to sell, or
Oh
or
yeah,
how did that work with the manufacturer?
yeah, we
Or how do you even reach out? Like, where's your manufacturer from? Like, that's
yeah, we have our manufacturers in China. It's one of the, it said online at least, it says it's one of the major manufacturers of card games.
Okay.
But they're a little bit more on like the pricier end, and I guess that's because we're able to communicate better with them, and they're a lot more responsive, and they don't ship via freight like on the ship. They actually ship on an airplane. So it gets here on that. Yeah. So like when I track it, it's like it's in Alaska, and then it goes to Oakland, it goes to here.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, again, my fiance's brother was the one that contacted them, and like, I have 3 suppliers here. Let's go through them and see which one's the most beneficial for us. And I think our first order was like a 500, and then that's when we were starting to take pre-orders, right? I think in April, and it was pretty stressful because like you're creating content, you're wanting to get out there more, and you're wanting to get some of the not recognition, but you really want to just make people aware of what you have out there. And it was tough. Like there'd be some days I'd be checking Squarespace and it'd be like one person visited your site, and I'm like, damn, was that me? And then I'd look on, but but every so often we get like one pre-order, and I'd be like, hell yeah, because I don't know where that person's from, and I don't know how they found us, but they pre-ordered, which means they trust us at least with some of the money they're making.
Content,
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I just need to be able to get people to visit the site so that they could see for themselves, right? Like the salesman, right? Like you knock on the door, like, let me give you my pitch. My website's my pitch. Let me see if you like it. And then I was using like social media to be the reinforcement, right? Like if they like my content, right? Because like the Dodger game stuff, like that's a card game.
Yeah.
It's a little bit louder, right, where you're playing, but that's literally the content, right?
How was the results from like those TikToks? Did that lead to sales? Or
Yeah.
just content in general?
So we've had, I think we had our first bigger video. It was a Disneyland video that we did, and that one got like a good amount of content or views, and that definitely led to like sales. And like every time we have like a banger on TikTok, like we see that direct correlation with like
Visit to the website,
exactly.
checking out
And then we really hit off when Me Too like made a video about the game. Yeah, they posted a video and they were like, let's play Yo Sabo. They sent it to us, and they played it, and like it's just like skyrocketed. And then and that was actually my birthday. They posted on my birthday when I had just come back from Hawaii, and I was like, this is the best gift ever, because I couldn't believe it, right? And I was like, that's one of like the major networks. And
yeah, especially the demographics too.
The
'cause it's all,
demographics, yeah.
Latinos and
Yeah,
Hispanics.
and so I loved it. And the next day was actually when we were gonna post the Dodger one, and that's when everything clicked at the same time, right? Because then you have somebody outside, right, making a video about you, and then you also have your own video and that own content, and that like blew up a ton.
Yeah.
And then I think ever since then we've just been trying to create content that caters to like our demographic, and ourselves, because I mean we we lived through that stuff. And we've just been seeing like that trend, right? Like, if you make a good video, you'll pick up sales. And if in general, we just like people viewing our stuff,
How often are you posting on like TikTok and other social medias?
I think we post at least every week, but a lot of times, or not a lot of times, but most of the time it's not really always game related, right? Because we don't want to keep showcasing it, because we also want to show like, I guess, like us trying to be funny, and like us showcasing like maybe another side of the social media that we were hoping to get. So yeah, I think we post like once a week, but not all the time is game content. And it's also tougher, right? Because like game content would be like the Dodger game, right? So that means I got to plan
to go to an event,
to go out there, bring my stuff,
Yeah.
buy the tickets.
Well, when I saw your game, I was even thinking of doing it here locally. Right now, it's super hot, like you're saying. It's, right here, it's 100, But in the fall, we have a local swap meet here.
Yeah.
So So I was thinking of taking the game, and then I'm a
Yeah.
stuff for tag you, put the links and stuff.
Yeah,
help
and that'd
you
be
out.
cool, right? Because it helps break the ice. You know.
Yeah, and it's super cool because like I said, it's just unique, and it's targeted towards our culture, and
Yeah.
people, it's an actual learning too, because you're learning
Yeah.
words, you're learning phrases,
Yeah.
and sometimes you want to tease like a younger brother or
Yeah.
a cousin or somebody that
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be dope. How do you curate? How was the process of coming up with all the words and the just all the phrases or everything? How long did that take? Were you with your parents, and like how many people were involved in the process?
Yeah, it took a good while to come up with the words, because we really had to sit down and write down like the words that we had already struggled with, and then we had to, think of like, okay, well, do other people also have trouble with it? So we were doing like a lot of like, I forget what the word is, right? But when you do, it's not, we call it beta testing, but like when you like try out a movie, right, for like a new audience or something, I forgot what you call it. Um,
Yeah.
but you like showcase it to
Advanced
them first.
screenings.
Yeah, stuff like that, right? Like see how they take it.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that. Like, like, hey, I was calling my friends and I was like, hey, can I read you a list of like 15 words and then like let me know if you like translate it, right? And so like I have like the old pages of like, okay, check mark yes or check mark no. And then like after that we took the harder ones and then we added it to it. And it definitely, it was us putting the list together, but then also showcasing it with other people and seeing whether they would find it challenging. And it took us a little while because we'd go back and forth. We'd be like, is it too easy? Is it too hard? I'm not really sure if we should keep this on there. Prueba time was always interesting because you want to create like a something that's a little bit difficult, but something that what's maybe trigger like a memory and then be like, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
And the chocolate cars were just fun because it was just like us growing up,
Yeah.
like all that stuff. Like I love the chile one where like your parents are roasting chiles again to make the salsa, and it's like because like
The house
that's
is all
such,
fucking-
yeah,
Oh.
it's such a vivid memory and like vivid smell and like all that stuff. So it's just like it's just funny, but yeah, it took a group of us to like finish it off or test it out before we felt like good about printing, because once you print, right, like it's pretty serious.
You're all in. You gotta go.
Yeah, and it's like there's this song too, right? Like scared money doesn't make money, and so we're, I was like, all right, man, we're just gonna have to do it, right? Like we're in it, we're in this now.
I saw you made a video once, and it was like manifesting your game at Target, and it was like a
Yeah.
3D like or I don't know what.
Yeah,
filter or
that
something.
effect, yeah.
Like a cool effect. So like, what's do you have your game in stores? Are you only selling through the website, or what's the process like right now?
Yeah, I would say that like 99% of our sales are through our website, and then like the other 1% is through like Instagram, and then we're just trying to manifest, getting our stuff into stores. Like Target is like, I wish we would see more representation for ourselves, right, at Target, and I wish, like my parents, growing up, they did go to Target, right, or my mom, because my mom raised me. She could have gone in and seen something like, oh, like, like that kind of looks like we'd have fun playing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't grow up really playing like board games because they weren't really catered to us, and that we
Yeah.
wouldn't have to understand them like Monopoly. Like, I still don't understand sometimes, right? But
No one plays it by the rules, but
yeah.
everyone has their own rules.
But
in
everyone
Monopoly.
has their own rules, right? So growing up, I was like, dang, like, I wish there was more representation. But I mean, I'm hoping by the time this comes out, we've been in negotiations and we've been in conversations with smaller stores, right? Like smaller game stores. And so this weekend, we're actually going to be delivering our first wholesale order over to a store in Santa Barbara called Game Seeker. It's owned by she's a Latina business owner, and she's a great representation of trying to get the word out there. And so we're really excited to be partnering with her, and for her going on this journey with us, because I coming up with the game, us working towards that. It's always been a goal to see it in stores,
Yeah.
but to actually see it proliferate and like be able to tell people like, yeah, you can find my
My
the
game's
game.
here.
Yeah, it's like it's insane to me. And if you would have told me like on April when we first started everything that we would be able to see our game in the store, like I would have been like,
within 4 months. just
yeah,
boom.
with 4 months, and like everything moves so quickly, right? Like, and so we're still getting like unique visitors and all that stuff. And so I really think that by having it in stores, it's just going to open up everything, and I'm hoping that people see it as like, yeah, I hate to say it this way, but like it just shows that the game is good, right? And that you could have fun playing it because if someone's willing to take a risk on their own business, right? To put it out there, then hopefully that means that they also like it just as much. But yeah, so and then we're in talks with another store. I won't say that just yet, just because we still have to set up the date for delivery. But it's been really exciting. And then I tag random stores all the time. Like I'm trying to do a video at Bevmo right now because Bevmo. I don't know if you've seen Bevmo, but now they're like a grocery store now. Like because they got bought out by a company called GoPuff.
Yeah.
And so now they remodeled all their Bevmos and it looks like a supermarket.
Damn,
and then,
I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
crazy.
And then I saw that they like carry some card games and then I took a picture and then I was like, you guys only have 2 games here. Like when people drink, they want to play a game, like why not put some more? I've been cold emailing like crazy, but I haven't got any response. So knock on wood, hopefully.
You just gotta keep going.
Exactly.
I think I think you gotta make more content.
Yeah.
In my opinion, once a week, that you gotta be posting daily, bro.
I know.
Like, how many videos do you do when like you go to those games, Dodger game, Padres game? Say you might go to a Galaxy game soon.
Yeah. We do maybe we try to like get out of that like 3 videos to like hopefully help us out because we'll try to go to different people, but it's also kind of hard to try and
get public interviews.
Yeah, and then what if like the game is really good, and you got to time it right because like people don't want to talk to you in the first, second inning, because they're sitting down, they're getting their drinks, and then by the time it's like later in the game, like the 7th inning stretch, like people are kind of like tipsy, and like dang, so you gotta feel it out, you gotta make sure it's like a semi okay game, but not too entertaining where people will want to focus on the game. So yeah, so we try to go up to like at least like 3 pairs of people, and sometimes we'll get no's, right? Like like they don't feel like playing or stuff like that. And so yeah, no, but I totally agree that making content and keeping ourselves in the algorithms, like
because that's it's a digital business, digital store. So you're saying you want to get your business in stores, but you literally have access to reach these people who might be interested, who want to play the game, they're gonna have a party or a game night, and they're like, oh shit, let's get this game and play with their friends, or someone just buy it just to play with their friends, or someone for their kids, or a gift for a cousin. You never know. Like when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's dope. Like I think just making more content, bro.
Yeah,
and you can make content talking about the stuff we talk about here.
Yeah,
like because I seen you when you're a Latino business, and it was like maybe your mom in the kitchen. You guys had like that kind of content's cool because it gives you a in-depth look at like behind the scenes. So whenever you place a new order, it's like that's a TikTok.
Exactly.
I just placed a new order. It's coming in 2 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's what we're gonna actually. It's on our we have like a creator board, right? Like where we try to write down all our ideas now, and I think that's one of the things because we also want people to. I think we have pretty good customer service, but it's funny because it's like literally like 3 of us in the company, right? Like it's only 3 of us. Like we're gonna make a TikTok video about it. It's like who's in charge of fulfillment? Like 3 people. Who's in charge of customer service? 3 people. It's the same 3 people for everything, right?
Yeah.
Because that's it. Like I think we're able to represent ourselves pretty well because we're able to maintain that communication. Like if something's wrong with the order, and knock on wood, but USPS has been awesome to work with. Like they know us by name now, and we're able to deliver. And if people put in an order, they'll get that thing like in 1 or 2 days. And so I think that's where we want people to get where we're coming from. Like, and again, right, we try to respond to everything within 24 hours. But it's like, okay, if we're gonna make more content, we really gotta plan it out because like our day job just takes up so much of our time, and it's only 3 of us, right? So I think yesterday we actually filmed one, and we had to do it after work, and then we had to ask my fiance's brother to get ready for it, and then like 3 takes, and then we're good. Let's post it now, and it's stuff like that, right? But it's like it's always after 5 p.m. and it's a week, and the weekends feel so short sometimes. It's like.
That's when you're free on the weekends too.
Yeah, and then like sometimes me and my fiance will want to do something that's a little bit away from the game, right? Because
you still have to live your life.
Yeah, exactly. And so and I gotta say though, it's been cool because we've been like Cutwater, right? Cutwater Spirits, the drink. They invited us to an event, I think 2 weekends ago. It's like called their like Tiki Bash, and it was cool, right? Because me and my fiance got to enjoy it as like almost like a date night, but also try to interact with the company themselves, right? And so we put out some videos on that, and so it's right, like that stuff like that, content generating. But I think September we're really gonna try to hit home with the majority of our content because
And cooler weather too. You'll be able to have, yeah. Right now, summer in Southern California.
again, right, like we talked about, right? It's like it's hard to see that representation, elsewhere, and I think people take it not like for granted, but I think they definitely don't sometimes see us as like that big of a group. But there's definitely a lot of Latinos everywhere, like they're in every major city, and how big of a role we play in like a lot of the things that
But
happen.
I think they started by like 2050 or 2030, 2050. I
Mhm.
think it's gonna be the biggest demographic in the United States. There'll be more
Yeah, see,
Latinos than anything else. And,
yeah,
well, I mean, California especially, there's more Latinos than any other race.
yeah.
And it just keeps accelerating. Fucking no hay teles.
And that's true, right? Like, like I think we play like such a big role in what we do, and we're everywhere, and we love that hustle
But there's
culture,
no
right?
footprint when it comes to like businesses or things. Like it's barely starting, I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
we're barely getting there compared to like the established stuff. But
yeah,
things like this, like industries that we never even think of, like
yeah,
a gaming industry. I never thought of it when you said there's no other Latino games or Hispanic games or about our culture. And I was like, oh shit, that's true. Like when you think of
yeah.
games, it's like Uno. I guess I don't know, is that racist? But Uno.
Well, there's Uno, right? I know. I wonder who came up with
Who
that.
come out? Uno, and
Yeah,
then there's like Monopoly,
Monopoly. You got Connect Four,
Connect Four, yeah,
Cards Against Humanity, right?
yeah,
And like that stuff, and like those major players, right? That are in that gaming industry, and I don't really see that representation. And I hope in the comments, somebody says like, oh, I know this game that's like catered. That way we could check him out too and support it, right? Because like obviously like Millennial Loteria, right? Like he's been a pretty major player now, right, in the industry, and then seeing him, right, it makes you really appreciate sort of what's been going on, right, in our culture, right, and trying to
yeah,
put that wrapped up in there. And it's nice to see that in Target, right, like but I feel like we could do a lot more. I feel like
yeah.
we could
There's
be.
there's room for there's room for a lot more, and the market, like I said, it's just the market is barely starting, and
Yeah.
you're like a pioneer, like that. You couldn't have you been reached out by other people who are inspired by your game or
uh
just want to start their own game or questions like, hey, how do I guess make my own game?
I haven't gotten any of those, but I've definitely just like gotten people reach out, like again, right, like people that have just enjoyed playing it with their families because they didn't have anything before, and they'll send us videos and just like cracking up, and it makes us so happy because like how would I have ever met or talked to this person any other way, right? Like I would have just been nowhere, right? Like you don't interact with that many people, but seeing them message you and seeing them like really happy about the game and that they were able to share something with their family makes me feel better because I didn't have that growing up, right? Like my family was always working, and my mom was she raised me as a single mom, and she had me and my sister to take care of, and I grew up in a really like big household, but a lot of times everyone was hustling, right? They either had school or they had to go to work, and then my mom worked as a night janitor, and so it was like really tough, and so we didn't really have game nights, and so
Yeah,
everything was like a little bit all over the place. And so now seeing that like somebody could go and buy this and actually play with their family and get to have that conversation, like it makes it a ton more better because we're no longer. I mean, I might get the history wrong, right? But like, I feel like there's more second generation Latinos coming into play now, right? Like, if I
yeah,
have kids, they're going to be second generation,
yeah,
and so that's why I want them to be, kind of set in this because, again, like, I feel like if I wouldn't have, like pushed harder, right, I probably wouldn't have done this because it does take time, right? Aside from your own job, and I really want to put it out there and to help people, like interact with the kids that are going to still be living here and that are going to have kids and then grow up in this type of environment that they should feel like they're able to play games for them or games for their culture, and that they don't feel like they won't be able to find anything that would fit in with them. Like teachers message me so much.
oh,
uh
that's it's cool,
yeah,
that would be
schools.
huge.
Yeah, and they message me, and like they'll say like, hey, I think I would love playing this with my kids or my students. Would you be willing to donate some packs? And I do because I love teachers, and when I was growing up, I only had Spanish in high school, right? And then like I knew that we probably could have found like a game that we could have played, then I would have played that thing, and they'll message me, and yeah, we made like a couple of donations to teachers because they want to play it, and I always tell them to let us know how it went. That way we know what to improve on in the future in case we
Yeah.
need to make something curated specifically for schools, right? But it's been awesome there because imagine like, oh yeah, we have this game and it's for Latinos and it's in our classroom. I've always thought that was really awesome and I love teachers, so it's cool.
You should encourage fans to send you videos.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
repost them on your TikTok and stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna have a couple user generated contests coming up soon.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that right after I think the Dodger games are over. That way we could get ready for the holidays, and we have a lot of good stuff coming up actually in terms of products. Like we're gonna be releasing a couple new things in the upcoming months, and so we're really excited for all of that. Like we because it was never about like I just wanted to get the game out there, right?
Yeah.
And then like if money came, like that'd be cool, but like I just wanted the game out there. And now that I'm like, okay, well, I feel comfortable because people are buying it, I want to do a little bit more and make another thing or add on to it or stuff like that. And so then that makes me feel like I could spread it even more, because then I don't really have to feel like I'm like putting money into it as much. And it's scary because like my second order was like a lot of money, and I was like, I was actually scared that my credit card went through that quickly, like from like the thing. I was like expecting the call from like Capital One, and then they were like, "Hey, did you place this order? Because it's a lot of money." Like, but it makes you feel better because like it's getting bought, and every day we get orders, and every day
What's
I
the
go
most
to the
you've
post.
sold in one day where you like woke up and you're like, God damn.
Damn, I've sold. I think I'm not sure, but I know for sure in one day we sold like 300. And
damn, that's crazy.
That was
You gotta ship
insane.
300.
Yeah, and like I think we did that during our pre-orders. I was freaking out, and I was like, I gotta get because it's all this stuff that you don't think about as much when you first create it, right? Because when we were first talking about it, we were like, all right, we gotta come up with the game, the box, all that stuff. And then we are like, oh crap, we got fulfilled. Like, I gotta buy the right packaging. I gotta figure out the right shipping cost.
Make
Yeah.
Sure how much. Yeah.
All the boxes, right? And then we include like a little informational card, right? And then like the protection, so like bubble wrap.
You put a little social media card or something.
Yeah. And like all of that stuff, but all of that stuff adds up, And I'm just like, and like I had to like break it down one day because I was like, okay, well, if you divide everything by how many there are, this is how much you add on top of the game,
The
like
shipping and handling.
Yeah, the shipping and handling, and I was like, dang. And then my mom was like, you gotta raise the price because you're not making enough money. And I was like, well, I don't want to raise the price because one, if it was more than $20, I don't think that many people would buy it. But two, all of our competition or all the games out there are like $20, and I'm like, no, that's fine. Like, I don't, I didn't really care about losing money because I was like, yeah, when we started actually, I think I was charging like $6 for shipping. And it was $20, but shipping would cost me $9.30. So I was losing money every time I shipped out. But I was like, that's fine because I just want people to have it, and that way they could post stuff and then
spreading it.
Yeah. And so, like I think there's like a saying right in business that, or like a lot of businesses lose money their first year. And so I was on that mentality. I was like, it's okay, man. Like we'll catch up later.
Yeah.
But then, when we started getting big day orders like that, I was like, okay, we really got to break it down by how much cheaper can I get a shipping box? What do I need to modify to make it more affordable to ship out? And what are the best companies to buy from? Because you can't go to Staples and buy stuff in bulk. Like it's so overcharged. So we go with Uline all the time. Uline's like awesome.
Uline, the website.
Yeah. And they ship like overnight for everything. And so I love Uline, and they give you like a little gift if you order like a little something extra. But it's all of those things I didn't really know. I wasn't a business major. I was.
How were you growing up? Were you entrepreneurial? Did you ever,
I think so.
What kind of jobs have you had? Do you have any?
Yeah.
Besides this, do you have any other business ideas that you thought of almost doing or you did or how?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, like my mom likes to joke around, but like growing up, like I don't want to age myself, but like growing up, cell phones were like really difficult to get your hands on. And when I was in like 6th grade, I think I wanted a sidekick, and I was like, well, I wasn't gonna buy it, And I remember I bought it off this kid because he had just gotten the second sidekick, and then my mom was like, I'm not gonna pay for it. But back in the day, you could get T-Mobile like $1 per day, and it was specifically catered for a sidekick because then you got unlimited internet, unlimited text, and unlimited. I forgot what else, but no calling because each call would cost you like 10 cents. But for $30 a month, you could be on online AIM all day, right?
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, nah, and it was middle school, so I was like, well, I gotta do something. So I started buying chips, hot Cheetos, and I would sell them at school. I would bring my duffel bag, and then I was like, okay, this is a good profit margin, right? Like, I sell it for, I think I used to sell it for like 50 cents, and I was getting them cheap at Smart and Final.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I gotta double up because I'm not making enough money fast. And so I started selling frozen Gatorades because all the kids after PE loved frozen Gatorade. And you couldn't get it because like the vending machines didn't have it like that cold.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, I was like, well, my PE period is not until like 1 p.m. or something. And so then I was like, how am I going to keep these cold? And I don't want to be lugging them around.
Walk around with the
Yeah,
cooler.
yeah, it's all like weird, it's all like suspicious and stuff. And so I remember I was talking to my teacher and I was like, hey, you have a fridge. Can I keep my stuff in here until PE? And then he was like, why? And then I told him what I wanted to do. And he was like, all right, I'll let you do it if I get one a day. And I was like, all right, fine. It's sold. That's fine because you used to be able to buy those Gatorade bottles for like 75 cents and I was selling them for $3 because they were frozen.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, that's money, but yeah, I did that in middle school. I did that to pay my cell phone. And then again, my mom didn't pay for my cell phone in high school. And in high school, it took me a while to get to like the hot Cheetos stuff again. But I remember at that point, I just really didn't care. I was just doing them more for fun. And like, I'd have customers, right? But then like, there'd be some days where I'd be like, oh, it's free hot Cheeto day. Come find me, man. If you come find me, I'll give you a free bag. Like, no problem. Cause like, I didn't really care about the money as much at that point, cause
that's so dope.
Yeah, and like I remember my friend, he was like my competition. He was like Daniel.
He was my competition.
He was because he used to sell and like he used to cater to his
he
group.
Used to sell Powerade.
Yeah, like all that stuff. And this girl used to come in. She got caught though because she used to like come in with like a hot Cheetos and like the everything like the lemon and everything. She used to make it like she got caught real quick because you're in Alsiki, But yeah, I would think of that as like trying to get on the business end. But I think it's more I got it from my mom because growing up, my mom always wanted to like own her own business, right? So she would sell Avon, back in the day. She used to sell gold, so I used to go with her like when she used to go negotiate, pricing and trying to figure out your best return, and then her just telling me that you got to do something a little more, if you want to get a little ahead, because it's difficult.
Yeah.
And so in high school, that's why I wanted to do it. In middle school, that's why I was trying to do like the own business, and up until now, like. Apart from the game, I've always wanted to do like something small, like when Teslas came out, I noticed that a bunch of people had like problems with it because they were either like older and Tesla didn't really explain to them how Teslas worked, and they had like really bad customer service. And so I made like an Instagram called like EV Buddy, and then I would be like, oh, if you need like to contact anybody to help you set up your Tesla, let me know because I've read all about them, right? It didn't work out. I made business cards and all that stuff, but it didn't work out. But I was like. And again, there's like a business thing. I think that a lot of people like fail, right, a couple times before finding their groove and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I'll take this as a learning lesson, right? Like, I got to either do better marketing or do better presentation or cater to a different demographic that fits what I want to actually do and feel really more passionate about. And this was it because, I cater the last person that I really appreciated to sort of like get me inspired to do business more is my grandma. My grandma, she makes food and she sells it in Los Callejones in downtown LA. And I remember when I was talking to her about this and I showed her like the beta when it had like no decorations or anything. She was like, va a pegar, vas a ver, va a pegar, because people want to play something like this. And then she would tell me that, she was better with the pricing because she was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, because she sells and she has to make a profit.
What does she
right?
sell?
She sells, shoot, what did she make? I have a video about it too. But she used to sell a lot of corn, but like it wasn't like with cheese. It wasn't the Mexican style. It was just like regular corn. And people would buy it because
like sweet corn.
Like sweet corn, yeah. And then dobladitas poblanas. She makes those, and I love those. Like she'll make them for me every time I go visit her. And
what are those?
It's like dobladitas, but like she puts in like whatever I think she does chicharron, cecina, and then pollo. And then like she just closes it, so it's like a dobladita, and it's like so interesting how she does it. And I made a whole video about her because she wanted to get filmed, but she was telling me that she doesn't do it for the money because she doesn't sell for like much of a profit. She does it because she likes to talk to people and share the culture. And then I sort of took that and I was like, well, that's what I want to do, because I want to share what we have and what we grew up with and show everybody that just because you know more Spanish than me doesn't mean I grew up any differently, right? Like we all kind of grew up the same, but we all had different either opportunities or different struggles that we had to face.
For sure.
And so, I was hoping that like that would bring people closer together and bring out that conversation, because I've had people message me and they're like, I love your game. I play it with my they'll be like, I play it with my no sabo boyfriend and a friend that's trying to learn Arabic, and or who is Arabic trying to learn Spanish. And I'm like, that's so awesome because you're able to share stuff,
That's crazy. I didn't even think of that,
Yeah.
that aspect, like learning.
Yeah, and we've had
I
that.
got one from Mills.
And we've had that happen, and I'm like, dang, that's such a great idea, because it helps you not only open up the vocabulary, right, the language barrier, but it helps you open up the culture. And then this woman from Amsterdam messaged me because she was like, "Si hay mexicanos en Holanda, like there's a lot of us here." And I was like, "Dang, that's so awesome!" And and she was like, "Can you send me a few games because I want to play with them?" And I was like, "I have no clue how to ship international, and I don't know anything about taxes over there, and I've only been to Amsterdam once." So I was like, I'll try. And she actually emailed me today saying that they just got there and that, she like loves them, and, she's really appreciative of whatever we're doing, because again, that representation isn't there. And
Yeah, there's Mexicans everywhere.
yeah, right.
Watch
Like,
soccer games. Like,
Yeah.
They play anywhere. They play in fucking Belgium, Japan. There's fucking people everywhere, bro.
yeah, I had such a good
New
experience too.
Zealand.
Yeah, in Amsterdam, like it was like a last day there, and we were trying to look for a Mexican restaurant, like just to find one. I remember we went in, and it was like a really nice place, and I remember the guy was like, "Hablan español," because I was wearing like my Mexico. It wasn't a jersey, but it was like a sweater that I had, like a team sweater.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Yeah, like I do." And then he shared with us, like he gave us like free entrees and like tequila shots, and he was so nice, and
That's
he
so
was like,
dope.
like, yeah, we're here, like in Holanda, all the way in Holanda, and Holanda's far,
That's
like
crazy. How did people end up in places?
I know, right? I wish I could ask them. I'm trying to go back next year to hopefully like see what's up and
That's sick.
talk to people over there. But yeah, it's definitely been a trip. But yeah, business wise, like again, I didn't major in business, right? Like my main thing was microbiology. That's what I majored in, and then I got a master's in regulatory affairs, which it has to deal with like the FDA stuff, and when pharmaceutical companies make drugs that are good, right? Like for the public and safe to use and all that stuff. So it got big when, coronavirus got there. I got my master's before then, but it's completely different from this, right? Like
How it's when everything was happening, did you have any like insight on like?
I feel like it helped knowing the background, because it helped me understand what the FDA was trying to say. And, I think people need to understand sometimes that it takes a long time for a drug to get approved. And so and the FDA, they're learning things the same thing we are, right? And there's like really like
It's all in real time.
yeah, no real time, and in real time, but also like the data they're getting, like they're trying to understand it as fast as possible. And there's going to be some mistakes because you're trying to do something good for the public so they feel safe, but the side effects, like we don't have the studies because it just came out, right? And so I think you always got to take that with a grain of salt. And so that's why I was like trying to keep up with the FDA and like understanding like how they passed everything. But I trust that aspect just because I work in it, right? Like I work in that field and the microbiology side of things. And my sister also majored in microbiology, and she works in the lab. And so, she was seeing real time, like how everybody's affected, because she works where they get the orders in from like all the COVID tests. And so she's seeing like, oh crap, like there's this massive spike, it's like real, like it's so real. So yeah, it definitely helped me understand more of the situation going on and trying to like feel more empathy towards everybody that's working on that front line, because it was scary. And when I got COVID before the vaccine came out. And so I was like, I'm gonna die. Like I was like, it was like the worst thing ever.
What like 1 month you get it?
I got it in December of the year COVID happened.
Okay.
So I think 2020.
20,
Yeah. And I was
Those
like,
years are blur, huh? Like 2021, 2020.
I tell everybody we're 2 years younger than we actually are, because
Yeah.
COVID took away
Those 2 years,
2 years.
It's just, it feels like a flash, but also feel like so long, but also feels like when we talk about it, I feel like it's 2019 and then 2022.
Yeah, there's nothing in between.
Like
man.
years, 2 gap years.
Yeah, I hate it. I hated that whole thing. And
It was also, I hate it too. I mean, but also it's like, I appreciate, because it did like give everybody a reset, like
yeah,
evaluate what really matters. Because
Yeah.
when everything was done, it was just your family, just the home.
yeah,
You just talk to mostly your family. Boom. get too sometimes too much in your head, your thoughts and shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like the world was going too crazy in 2019. Or just
Yeah.
I don't know how it was for
Everything
you,
was all
but it
coming
just
all
felt like
together, man.
so crazy. And then okay, we need to reset.
Yeah.
Boom. So now it's like okay, I feel like 2022. I feel like right now it's starting to feel like 2019 again, like where everything was just coming, just every day is just fucking
Like something new, right?
something
Like,
new. Just the
yeah.
world just keeps moving, and I figure that you don't have to be involved with everything. Like before, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to catch up with this, the latest release of this, and this is coming now, and then
Yeah.
this is happening. But then it's like you could take a step back and not even consume, like you were saying, get
Yeah.
away from social media. Because another thing from 2020 was like all the social media shit was just like more stressful than
Yeah. The real life.
than real life.
Yeah.
Like it just amplifies all the problems, and especially the way even the algorithms work. Like negativity comes up first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
People feed on that for a
feed
lot
on that,
more.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
they
then you're
stay
just
on
seeing
it.
that all day. You go on Twitter, and the first thing is like people arguing. You go on Facebook, people arguing.
Yeah.
I just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm just like creating content, and I try to like respond to comments or just whatever. But then I try to stay away from like consuming content.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's too much. It's too much to keep up with.
It is, and I feel like that's super important for like mental health. Like I work in advertising and promotion in my current position at my job, and it's tough for me to like get out of social media because like part of that is my job, and now
Yeah.
my side business, right, is that, and so me and my fiance have talked about that a lot, like really trying to get out of it and trying to focus on ourselves. Once we're done with like the day. When I mean we're done with the day, we mean like okay, we're done posting like content for Yo
Yeah.
Sabo, and then done looking at comments, right? Because sometimes I'm so guilty of that, of going back and like like digesting everything, and instead of just like putting my phone down. But no, I think that's really important, and I think you're right. It really showed us like what really is important in life. And after that, I was like, I don't want to commute to work every day. Like it takes away so much. And I was commuting from Thousand Oaks all the way to downtown LA every day, and that was like horrible. Like I couldn't do it. And I used to drive stick shift, and so that was even worse. Yeah, like
That
I was
sucks.
like, dang, this sucks so much. And after that,
Especially when you're tired on the way home.
oh, it's the
The
worst.
worst, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it, and I was like, like I value my time more with my family and my fiance and my dogs, and I was like, I got to figure out how I'm gonna be able to do that and spend more time, because even on the drive here, I was like thinking about it. I was like, dang, imagine how like cool it would be if like we didn't have to work and you could just like enjoy like everything. Because I've been to those mountains, like because UCR has like a lab up there, and I think in front of like the casino. And I was like, dang, it'd be so cool if you go out explore, right? Like actually do stuff like with your life, or take the time to like do that type of stuff. But yeah, I think COVID definitely helped us figure out what we really wanted, and what we want to achieve in life. And I think this is kind of what helped it too, because I was like, I got to do something else.
Yeah.
I got to take some time to do something else.
If it's cooler when you do your own thing than like working for a job,
Yeah.
Of course, it's its own benefits too, but your own thing, you're in control.
Yeah.
You're in control of your own. You get to decide when you could take breaks. You can decide when you know what, we need to make more sales. Let's fucking go hard on this.
Yeah.
I think that's dope. And then I think over time this is gonna catch on.
Yeah. And
It'll be working. The marketing will start doing its own marketing for you. I think.
yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And sometimes I do have to take that hard look at my own self and stop like judging myself too hard, because then I got to remember that we've only been in business for 4 months.
bro. You're brand new. Your business is a baby, bro.
Yeah.
Do you encourage like a hashtag?
We usually just do hashtag Yo Sabo, but that's also new. So sometimes it's hard because then like, people don't catch on to it that quickly, or the algorithm doesn't favor us because Yo Sabo is so like off, from everything. But yeah, I think you're right. Like it is going to take time. And I get more encouraged when I see people talk about how long they've been doing their own business, and how they've gotten to that point in life. And I'm like, well, I gotta chill, because I feel like in life right now, like you feel like everything comes at you a lot faster, like like TikTok, right? Like you consume it that quick, right? You're consuming everything, and then so I'm thinking like, shit, I gotta blow up like now, and then I'm like, I gotta take a deep breath.
No, it gives you that sense of urgency that you see people blow up overnight, type of thing. But then it's like, not like real life is not like that.
Yeah.
That's the outliers. No, the outliers is like the overnight success, but mostly 2-3 years from now, like this could be huge, you know. And
Yeah.
that way, you just keep grinding every day, grinding, either going creating more content, finding ways to like supply better. Like you say, you're making connections all over the
Yeah.
world too. You could start
Yeah.
international sales. Have you ever tried pitching like smoke shops?
We had one reach out to us. I forgot what their name was. I think they wanted to do like a giveaway together. But we just been like so busy. Like
Yeah.
it like goes into like our backlog, and we're like, all right, we got to catch up with that. And then so we focus more on like the sales aspect of it right away first.
Yeah.
Like if we like the current sales, right? Like online stuff first, and then the wholesale stuff comes second, and then content, and then everything else will come like at the very end. And so because like because then I feel like I wouldn't be prioritizing stuff properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have and I think there's like two podcast girls that are really cool. They have a podcast, and I think they do that type of stuff, and I forget what their name is, but yeah, we had like those shops reach out. Yeah, I think it's just to get the conversation started, right? And I think some guy just messaged us yesterday saying that he has like an app that I think he wants to collaborate with. And so we're kind of entertaining that idea too, because it's something new, but then it goes in the back of the list, right? Because we want September to be full of content, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a calendar's packed.
Like plans for other, maybe not even games, but just other businesses you've
Yeah.
always wanted to start.
Yeah, I've been wanting to start like my own agency. So like the parent company of this is Creative Danger LLC, which is my company, but it's a group of us, right? Because I have my graphic designer, right, who's my fiance's brother. I have my fiance, who's our COO, who's like everything, customer oriented or content creation. And then we have her youngest brother who just got into school, and he's doing media production at Cal State LA. And so I was like, yo, we could start our own agency. I was like, we could become this group where like if somebody has an idea, right, we could work together, create it, and then release it, because you got someone that's a videographer, you have someone that's a graphic designer, and then you have the content manager.
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to do that type of work, like watching Entourage, and then like like there's a show called Succession on HBO that like I really
heard
like.
about it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and it's like really good because it gets me going. I'm like, damn, like this is a whole aspect of like media, right? That I didn't really get into because I didn't major in it, right? But I've always kind of wanted to do that, but I know that's going to take like a ton of work and a completely different path, and probably the more riskier one, because for sure I probably wouldn't see much money or much work come in all at once, if ever, right? But I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
Let's play a little bit of a game. I want
Yeah.
to try it out.
I got you, man. But it's funny, right? Because like with these cards, right? Like we add like penalty words. So like if you say these, like you definitely taking a drink,
What is it?
because
What's the penalty?
it's like the penalty word is salario, like
Salario.
or like celoria. Because it's like something like if you don't know Spanish, you try to add the
try to make
A's
it
or the
Mexican,
O's or
yeah.
something. Yeah, exactly, right? And so we added that. ¿Cómo se dice mermelada? Oh, yeah, sorry. ¿Cómo se dice jam? I was supposed to say, ¿cómo se dice
I
jam?
was gonna say you
Yeah,
answer.
that was the answer right there. All right. ¿Cómo se dice jungle?
Jungle?
Jungle? It's selva.
Selva.
Here, let's see. This is a chocolate card. So, what would happen, right, is that I would draw it, right?
Yeah.
And then I read the scenario. So it's like, no tengo Uber. Your parents always forgot to pick you up from school. And so the action, you would be reading the action at the bottom, like on what to do.
Pull up a photo from when you were a kid that shows your cool.
Like a picture that
Like
shows
a picture, like you on a horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you with the soccer.
Like I have one with my like
okay.
little ranchero outfit, with my hat and everything. Yeah, I have one of those. Do you have one?
I have a picture of
Yeah?
a horse.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You see, so you
yeah.
would pull that
I
up, right? And then
actually
we'd
just
all,
posted it.
and then you'd look at it, or you'd show us, right? And then we'd be like, all right, he's good, man.
Oh,
But if it
that's-
was like something completely off, we'd be like, fuera, like out of here,
I have a picture of me like, it's me. Well, one on a horse, and I have another one that I'm on like on the side of the road like this, asking for a ride. Like it's like, that's dope. So it's like action shots. I got
Yeah. And it's to get like that conversation going, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause you want to talk
Like,
about stuff.
yeah, I used to
like,
fucking ride
yeah.
a burro, fucking.
yeah, all
Or
that
like
stuff.
a picture of like you with your dad making carnitas.
Yeah,
something
see,
like
that'd be
that.
dope. I think I had like a picture of myself like cooking, because we grew up in an apartment. Like I grew up in like a two, or actually I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment with like 7 people in it. Like all us,
I
all
get you.
us
Now
in
I
there.
grew up- Yeah.
Yeah, and so we didn't have like a proper grill. My grandpa had like this tiny like like the little grill with charcoal, like the ones that sit at
The black
like
one?
this height, yeah.
The black one.
And then like I have a picture of it, me with him because I was like watching him, make it because he used to that was his thing, right? But that's the one I use. ¿Cómo se dice leash in Spanish?
Fuck, dude.
Like the dog leash.
Like a dog leash? Collar?
Collar? Nah, correa. Es una correa.
It's close. So it's close.
Here, we'll give you an even easier one. All right, I got you.
Mom, if you're watching this,
Here's some prueba time. What is the name of the famous game show that aired on Saturday nights?
You don't know that one?
I don't. Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night Live.
No mames. Sábado Gigante.
Sábado Gigante.
No.
Yeah, but it's stuff like that. It's just trying to do that stuff where some people do get confused, right? Like, like ¿cómo se dice dessert in Spanish?
This. Fuck, dude. Oh my god. Cierto? Fuck. It's on. Desierto?
See that's a penalty word. See, like es cierto because it's postre.
Desierto.
And it's like like it's stuff like that, and it's like
Those are tricky ones.
This fun.
yeah, they're tricky. Like
Yeah.
I mean that's why I put them right because like when I was making it, I was like,
Oh wait,
shit.
I forgot. I gotta
Yeah, he gotta take his drink.
gotta take my drink for penalty.
Yeah, and so it's those types of things, right? Where like if it got me, I'm sure it's gonna get other people. But even the people that know like all the Spanish, right? They
Yeah.
still want to compete, right? So
Yeah.
like if you both knew the answer, you both try to get it fast, right? And so like that's what creates that fun aspect of like the competition and
Yeah.
seeing whether you could like beat the next person, right?
Yeah.
Or beat the other person. Because it stumps you like. And I'll say I've seen like videos where like people are playing, they're like a few drinks in, they're like like really taking their time on
That's
it.
what's fun when you're like
Yeah.
not sober.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? Like maybe you could start out the night
Bring out the
shots.
shots.
Bring out the shots in the Yo Sabo. But yeah, like yeah.
Give it some years. Give it a few years and it'll catch on.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, imagine. Dang, that'd be crazy.
That's super cool though, because you're learning.
Yeah, yeah.
You're teaching. That's the proper way to say it.
Yeah.
And it's fun, and you make yourself look like a fool.
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing, right?
know,
Like
just-
we added that on the website, right? Because who forgets a game night, right? Like a fun game night. Like, damn, remember when you said that word? And like, damn, you got him right, and it's always meant to like be.
or like you could bring it up in conversation. Someone's like talking like Spanish or something, and you know the word is like apio.
Yeah.
And then when you say, it, and then your friend was there at the game, be like, hey, fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
And, like we got like we made a video about blimp, right? ¿Cómo se dice
Yeah.
blimp in Spanish?
¿Cómo se dice blimp in Spanish? I don't even know.
Yeah, Brian.
Hey man.
It's hard. That one's hard.
I don't even know.
It's dirigible. And I think there's like different, depending on where you're from, right? Like it might be different. But I remember someone commented saying that like they call it like a zephyr, but like in the Spanish style because of like the actual blimp. But then I remember someone commented and they were like, when would I even use that in real life? And then, but in my head, I'm like, but like if you ever see that Goodyear blimp, you're gonna, like you're gonna say the word, right? And then
Yeah.
someone's gonna ask, damn, how do you say that thing in Spanish? Like, well, now you know, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's how it came up, right? Like again, like on our drive back home, we saw that Goodyear blimp. Like, damn, ¿cómo se dice? Like, is there even a word for that?
Yeah.
And so it just like helps create right that memory, and like that's what I want, like everybody to be able to play and like get that memory because I enjoy playing this with my friends. Like when we first got the printed version of it, I remember I brought it to them. It was like a group of us, and we were like, we didn't even get through half the deck because we were just cracking up. And then I remember we made a video, and then my friend was like, well, I want to get it wrong because I want to take another shot. And I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like I was like cracking up because we were having fun, and like they didn't have to pretend like they were having fun because we were sharing all these things when we were growing up, and we didn't even get through half of it. And there was like 5 of us, I think, and it was like, dang, okay, so we got something good, right?
Bring out the second bottle, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's the premise of the game, right? Like asking those difficult words. You got the chancla cards mixed in.
Is there like a
Yeah, you would collect. So like, if
you
Brian
get
would
it
have gotten it right, he would collect it. And at the end, you'd like win.
Whoever has the most?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then if you were the no Sabo kid from that point, right? But you won the most cards, you're not the no Sabo kid anymore.
and
You won
whoever
the
got
game.
last place? That's the no.
That's
Sabo
the new
kid.
No Sabo kid. And that's why we wanted to make it Yo Sabo, right? And I think a lot of people commented, and it's like, that's not how you say it. It's like, yo sé, and it's like, I know it is, but like,
That's the whole point.
that's the whole point. Because right here is like, here, this is why I added this. I was like, don't you hate it when someone asks you to translate and you don't know the word in Spanish? So you have to say no sabo. Well, we are here to help you say yo sabo. Just kidding. We know it's yo sé, because like we wanted them to like get a play on that word. And I, I feel like if we would have named it yo sé, I don't think it would have sold as much or caught the attention of people,
No, that's one that caught
Yeah.
my attention when I was rolling on TikTok.
Like, I feel like it could be one of those staple games that they're gonna have like with them because one, people forget the words all the time, so they'll bust it out again to play again. Two, you'll have a new group of people that also don't know Spanish. But three, people have kids, and then they also want them to like grow up and learn to that conversation.
Hey, like I have a niece. She's 17. She's a senior in high school. I want to play this game like for sure just to get it.
Yeah, get it going, right? Like
Yeah.
get that conversation going, or like if you don't know it, well now you know it, right?
Yeah.
Like because again, right, not everybody grew up the same way. Like me and my sister were raised in the same household, but my sister's Spanish is 1,000 times better than mine, and I've always been like, dang, how did how did that happen? But like, it's just like different styles.
Yeah,
I
my
guess.
sister too. She was actually a teacher at a school that they were teaching Spanish and English.
Yeah.
Like, she was an elementary school teacher.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She, like her Spanish. She even took classes to get credentials to teach in Spanish too.
Nice.
So she's like super.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Proper everything she knows,
Yeah.
and I know, but I know more like the slang.
Yeah. Like I gotta take my time when I like
Yeah.
respond back to emails in Spanish. I'm like, shit, I gotta look up.
I'm better at speaking than type. Sometimes typing.
Oh,
It
yeah.
takes me longer. It takes
Yeah.
me longer. I have to make sure I'm not misspelling the words, and I have to add. I have the Mexico keyboard too.
Oh, the acentos and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I talk to my grandma, she gets mad at me sometimes. 'Cause I'll say like some dumb stuff like by accident, and then like sometimes I still ask my fiance like how to say like numbers right, like in the millions, right? Like all that stuff. But yeah, no, it's been really entertaining, and like it's difficult, right, for some people. And again, if you had the party going and you had drinks and you have your whole family there, everyone's gonna be cracking up, and that's why we put like ages 21 to abuelitos, right? Because we're like, even my grandma like has been playing. Or what's even nicer is that people will message us and tell us that they've been using it to help their parents learn English, because they will ask them instead, "Cómo se dice mermelada?" in English.
Oh wow!
And
that's
so that
crazy.
they do that backwards, right? And I'm like, damn, that's so awesome, because like my mom came to this country and she didn't know how to speak Spanish. Like she's still learning
Yeah.
how to speak Spanish
My
and took
parents-
classes and all that stuff. And I was like, dang, like it would have been cool if like they had a game that we could all play.
If you
know?
make it a game instead of like, oh, you see with your parents like, oh, let's learn
Yeah.
the night school shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just boring.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's play this game, and then you're having fun, and they're learning words, and
Yeah,
that's so.
and they're
dope,
able to
like-
interact with you, and I thought that was
and
so
you
cool.
create memories with your parents too.
Yeah, and I was just like really touched by that, because I was like, well, my mom, she still struggles with English just as much as I struggle with Spanish. Like it's all around just been helping people. And when somebody messaged that, I was like, damn, like that got me. I was like, okay, well that's cool. That you're able to interact with your family, and like they could still play. I remember they sent me a video too. It was kind of funny. Yeah, I remember. I don't think I posted it because I wanted to make a TikTok for it, but yeah, it was good.
Has your Spanish gone better since you've played the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, because now I'm able to like. I mean, my Spanish was like not the best, but I don't think it was like horrible. But it's definitely improved a lot more. Like after getting used to like not only the game but interacting more. Like we had our first like not a flea market, but like the open air market at the Tianguis.
Yeah.
I had my first one, and it's like cold selling, right? Like I got like all nervous, I was like, shit, like I gotta talk to people. They're gonna ask me about the game. They're gonna ask me what it is. They're gonna play it a little bit, and so that I was like, okay, my Spanish has got to be on point. And so yeah, it went good. It's definitely a different atmosphere selling in person, right? But it definitely improved there, and then cold calling or cold sales, right? Like going into like smaller stores, talking to them, telling them what it's about too. It's helped me, because then now I have to explain it in Spanish too, right?
Yeah.
I think like this store owner in Long Beach, he's gonna open up like a bilingual bookstore, and he was saying that he wants to put the game there. And so then I was explaining to him what the premise is and all that stuff, and in Spanish. So Yeah, I think it got better. I don't know if my fiance would agree, but I think it definitely got better. I mean, I still get roasted.
She speaks a
Yeah,
lot better.
yeah, she speaks a lot better, but I get roasted in the comments sometimes. Like they'll be like, "How are you gonna have the host play this when the host is no Sabo kid too?" And I'm like, "Dang, dude, that hurts." Because like like I'm trying my best. Like in the Dodger video, I think the girl responded. I think I asked her like, "Cómo se dice ankle?" And then she, again, right, like the music's blasting, right, and I'm over here like trying to make sure we get on the first take with our microphone, and I think she said, or the comment said, and then I heard it back. She said tubillo, and then people were like, "Es tobillo, not tubillo," like a tube, and I was like, but I was like, "Oh yeah, it's tubillo, you got it right." But I'm in the moment, right? Like I'm trying to like get these answers from them as quick as possible, and
Yeah.
that way they could go back to their game. I could finish up the content. But yeah, I got roasted in the comments. They were
That's
like,
good though.
dude.
Getting roasted creates more engagement.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't
That's
think
what I
of
was
it
telling my
negatively.
fiance too.
Plus, those people that are talking negative.
They're just feeding the algorithm.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
just
yeah.
feeding
That's
the
what I
post.
tell her all the
Just feed
time too.
algorithm, bro.
Yeah.
I love negative comments when I get one, and then I love like responding with videos because then it creates more views and
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
Just more traffic to your page. Bro.
All of that stuff. Yeah. And I was
encourage
like,
negative comments.
yeah, I was like, dang, like they got me, man. But at the end of the day, it makes me like feel like I just have to work a little bit harder. Like I'm like, all right, well, like that's no problem. My next one is gonna be a banger. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna see it and then you're gonna be like, damn, it got me. Or something like that. But yeah, you're right. It makes it a lot better, and it just like feeds into the algorithm. The more people interacting and all that stuff, and yeah, no, I agree with it 100%. It's gonna get there.
Yeah, that's so dope. Well, thank you for coming to the podcast. I know there was a drive and everything, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And maybe in the future, when you're like big time, you can come back.
I gotta come back to everything. Like I think that's the one person that has helped me out a lot in like sale wise is this guy. He's from Santa Ana. He does tianguis, like actual outdoor market. And he always told me that he was like, if you make it big, man, don't forget about your community. He was like, and I was like, damn, you're right, and it's true, right? Like I grew up in LA. Like I always got to remember where I came from and how I grew up, and always got to humble myself. And yeah, I'll definitely be back.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm pretty sure just from the conversation we had, could definitely see you doing 2-3 other businesses in the future.
Yeah.
So, like something you hadn't even thought of yet, like something will come up.
Yeah.
You got that mindset, entrepreneurial stuff. So that's a double. Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it, man.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe. We'll put all the links in the description. You guys want to get your game, we'll put it in the description, and go check out Yo Sabo.
Check out Yo Sabo. Thank you, everybody.